Welcome to the D-League podcast, the Development League. I'm your host, Sam Coleman, and I am devoted to your development. All right, welcome back to the show, guys. Another 7 minutes with Sam. And today I'm going to talk about reinventing yourself and transitioning. I used to play professional basketball, and in 2010, I entered the NBA draft. And for those that know me, I did not get drafted. It did not work in my favor. However, what did work in my favor was channeling adversity, going from disappointment to I'm going to do it anyway. I then proceeded to have several opportunities in the NBA. I did get hurt several times. I played in the G League. I traveled. I played in over 15 different countries, traveled the world, had a great career. And then I found myself in 2015 at rock bottom, not knowing what I was going to do, but most importantly, what were people going to think of me now that this 6'10" professional basketball player is now an Uber driver, 8% body fat, can shoot the lines off the ball, and now I'm driving a Chevy Impala that smells like cigarettes with cigarette holes, burns in the back seat, and I'm driving drunk people around on the strip in Las Vegas. But I thought you played pro basketball. Like, everywhere I go, man, how tall are you? You should be in the NBA. And every time I would hear, oh my gosh, how tall are you? Oh my gosh, you should be in the NBA. You should play basketball. What are you doing here? What are you doing driving an Uber, being an Uber driver? What are you doing working at Solar City? What are you doing? And in my heart of hearts, I was screaming, groaning for the opportunity to play in the NBA, and I became so bitter and resenting anybody or anyone who said anything about basketball. I hated it. I hated my life, and I was in this constant state of just humiliation because everywhere I go, I couldn't escape it. I couldn't help that I was 6'10" anymore, but I was no longer significant in the basketball world. I no longer pursued who I was, and I didn't have any true value to myself at that point because everyone looked at me as Sam, the basketball player. Sam, you should be playing basketball. And I lived in that state for so long, but I had to reinvent myself. Now at this point in my career, I've stopped playing basketball when I was 27 years old, and I committed to going to do something else. At that point in my life, I had nothing left. All I had at that time was past due child support payments, anger, resentment, and a little bit of faith. And I had faith that I would not stay in a state of turmoil. It was just a season. I did not know how to get out of it, but I knew that I wouldn't be in it forever. So my message to you today is if you need to reinvent yourself, I want to let you know that seasons come and go. This too shall pass. Even if you're in an incredible season right now and you feel like you're thriving, this too shall pass. If you're in a state of, man, I'm depressed, my emotions, who I am as a person, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, all of it seems like there's just no light at the end of the tunnel, this too shall pass. Because whether you're in the valley, or you're on a mountaintop, you feel like you're unstoppable. Seasons change, and who we are as a person remains the same until we decide to change it. So I decided to reinvent myself. And now who I am as a person, regardless of the season that I'm in, whether it's a great season or a tough season or challenging season, or I'm approaching a challenging season, who I am as a person remains the same. I believe that being faith-filled, being disciplined, and focused are characteristics that allow us, that will sustain us through those seasons. Because no matter, if I'm going through a tough season and I think to myself, you know what? These are the cards that I've been dealt. I can't change it. If it's already happened, I can't change it. So what I do now can only affect the future. It can't change the past. That old saying is the reason why the windshield on a car is bigger than a rearview mirror. I have to look through the windshield, and I understand that the rearview mirror is there. It serves its purpose. There are times when I need to look back over my life and remember that I've gotten through 100% of the toughest times. I remember when God did that thing for me. I remember when I thought I wasn't going to make it through that. I remember when I had nothing, when there was too much month at the end of the money. I remember when I thought that my life was over. In that small little mirror, but the windshield, the future is great. I have an opportunity to reinvent myself, to change who I was, and I can affect who I will be. I can start right now with what I have, and the future is not predicated on what happened in the past. It does not matter that I grew up in Baltimore in a single family home. It does not matter that everybody around me never had an opportunity or there was poverty around me. It doesn't matter if I was raised in an area that was infested with crime and drug addicts. It does not matter what my skin color is. It does not matter what the lack of skills or the school that I went to. It does not matter. What I do right now, I can take the pen of my life and rewrite the story of my future. I have the ability right now in this moment to reinvent who I want to be. If you have not listened to the episode Be Do Have, this is a huge philosophy that I've talked about, being somebody completely different than what I've used to be, so that I can do what I need to do, and I will eventually have what I need to have. There's nothing greater than looking forward and then looking back and seeing how far you've come, measuring backwards, seeing how many things that you've gotten through, to encourage yourself, to be encouraged right now and know that greater is on the other side of whatever adversity that you may be going through. It does not matter. It doesn't. It may affect you, but you can't change it. The past is back there, but here is where we can change there. There is your future. But before you get there, you have to master here and get out of the perpetual state of repeating the patterns and the cycles that have kept us bound and enslaved in our minds by what we think we can or can't do based on our past. Let's reinvent ourselves, redefine ourselves based on who we desire to be and pursue that, not who someone tells us that we should be. All right, guys, if this episode was helpful, again, thank you so much for tuning in, locking in with me. 7 minutes with Sam on the D-League podcast. I am absolutely devoted to my development, and I want you to be devoted to yours. We are devoted to yours as well, but don't let us want it more for you than you want it for yourself. If this episode has been helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment for my people on YouTube. And the podcast listeners, thank you for tuning in on the audio, whether you're working out, driving in your car, going or coming. Thank you. Drop that 5-star comment, share it with somebody else, and I will see you on the next 7 Minutes with Sam episode.